I'm Pablo Jose Ramirez. I'm an art curator from Guatemala, and I work with different issues related with indigenous contemporary artists, political artists that are working in between activism, community-based work, and well, production of objects. So yeah, that's who I am. I find contemporary art as a very diverse field where different artists at this moment are expressing from different contexts. So I would say that there is not a unity in contemporary art. What we have is a diversity of these different discourses. So it is maybe just like a reflection of the contemporaneity, right, of what is happening now in the world. When we talk about identity, we refer always to this essential, uh, sometimes exoticized subject, right? So I would like to maybe talk about difference, right? We have differences, and these gaps between one and another are the ones that are important, I think. I would say that these difference, cultural, ethnic differences, affect the curation in so many ways because curators as artists we are talking from our own history and from our own culture and language and way of understanding the world. So there's no like curatorial work that is like with no previous ideology, right? So to assume that, I guess that is to be political, to be conscious of the place from which we are talking from. Totally. This Latin America is lying between post-colonial realities and something else, right? This something else, it's I think that the field that we are exploring right now. Um, of course, we have been dealing with very racist art systems. You know, also to recognize that maybe the art world is also contaminated by all these prejudices of racism, of sexism. So I think that is a good moment to think about that, right? Which whom we are working with, which kind of artists do we want to promote, which kind of art. I think that the black presence in the case of Guatemala and in the specific case of contemporary art is not strong, or maybe it doesn't exist at all, you know. Um, but I would say that I don't want to give like explanations about that because I do feel that it's like a gap that we need to think about it, right? Another thing is that I really believe that we need to try to develop um, um, a new subject that is a little bit of everything, like a mutant, theory, where indigenous, but also black people, but also mestizo people can be part of these new boys, right? So I think that that's important, like to think about that in a more like a intercultural way, right? In the case of Guatemala, as you know, there's no like a strong black community, and there's no cultural black presence as that, right? But there are, like, for example, Garifunas. There is a history of of colonial relation with Africa also, and in the Central American region, there's a lot of examples also, right? And Guatemala had been very related to the whole region. Before that, like the kingdom of Guatemala was bigger than we are before, and we were with very different black communities living on it. So somehow that, of course, affects the way, affect us in many ways, right? To take these issues into the discussion table is to also to recognize that we need to develop this new way of understanding this thing that we could call identity, and not like in like separate cases, but like in this intercultural relation where one affects the other, right? So yeah, because I don't want to start thinking about numbers, right? Because it would be like maybe the classical explanation. I don't want to say, okay, because we are 60% of indigenous population and just like, for example, 1% of black community in Guatemala, that's why. That's not an excuse. It can be less than one. It's about interculturality, right? And how we can build this rich, full, new context beyond the white supremacy ideology of the, so yeah, I think that that's where this discussion should go, and yeah, the black presence is not on the discussion table now, so it's a good moment to do it.